In this lesson, we'll create the handlebars for our motorcycle. So let's go ahead and go to the front view here, and I'm going to create a line, okay, and I'm just going to go from one side to the middle, basically. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on snapping, and we can go ahead and snap to grid points. Okay, and I'll snap one there and there. I'll call that done. Now go ahead and select that segment. Okay, turn off snapping, and we'll go down and divide that to 3. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and take those middle 2 vertices and pull those down a bit. Okay, let's go ahead and take this line and move it up closer to where we want to actually have it here. And then I'm going to go ahead and take these down to maybe right about there. These I'll move down a little bit more. Okay, you can modify some of these points. So this one, go ahead and turn that to a Bezier, give us a little bit of a curve there. Okay, this same thing up here. Okay, and we can modify that a little bit more. This one is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten that up a little bit right here. Make that line nice and straight. Get a nice curve in there. So now you can see that we want to match this up here with the handlebars that we have in the side view. So we'll go ahead and pull those across. Okay, and go ahead and get that back to the front view there. And so we can go ahead and take some of these points and just move those around. So this can be the kind of the end of our handlebar here. Okay, and then this you can go ahead and move back as well, kind of right in the center and down. Okay, and then we can tweak the tangents of this, make that nice and straight there. Okay, and we can even move that a little bit if we wanted to move it, scale it down a bit. Okay, if we want this to be smooth, put that right in the middle there. Okay, and then just kind of tweak that curve or that spline for the handlebars themselves. Okay, so once we've got this spline worked out, we can go ahead and add that geometry just by turning on the rendering. Go up here and enable that. Okay, we'll get the thickness of that worked out. So let's do kind of something along those lines. And we can still modify this. So let's say I think that this comes down a little bit too far. We can go ahead and move that back up a bit. Okay. We can still tweak the shape of that. And let's go ahead and modify the thickness up a little bit more. So maybe something like that. Okay. And give it the number of sides. We can choose how many sides it's going to have. Let's go ahead and now just collapse this or convert it to editable poly. And then we'll put a symmetry modifier on this to add the other side. Okay. If your symmetry mirror is off, you can go ahead and just drop that right in the middle. Go ahead and flip that. Okay. And you want it to be close enough so that those points pop together. All right. So we can go ahead and now collapse that. Say yes. And now we can go ahead and create the center point here where this is going to actually attach. So we'll go to the side view. Let's go ahead and create a tube. And so that's going to be a stand primitive tube. Okay. Go ahead and create something like that. Give it a little bit of thickness there. Pull this over and just kind of center it on here. All right. And now let's go ahead and add or tweak some of the parameters here a little bit. So go ahead and take that radius 1 out slightly. Okay, I'm going to take down the height segments for now, and I'm also going to take down the number of sides. Okay, and so now what I want to do is go ahead and rotate this a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and take the geometry from this and use it to create these, the handlebars are going to attach here. Okay, and we may want to move these a little bit closer together. Something like right in there. So we may need to tweak the shape of the handlebars just a little bit, but we can do that. And let's go ahead and convert this to an editable poly. Go to vertex selection. And then let's just go ahead and move some of these points up. So this is going to be kind of right up here. Just kind of flatten that top out a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and take these points down into the tree there. Okay, and then just kind of move that point out a little. Same thing over here on this side. Okay. Just kind of pull that out a little bit and create some sort of a shape that's similar to that. All right. And so now we can go ahead and I'll just isolate this for now. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these polys. Okay. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of resolution here. So select the ring, connect to, pinch them out to the side. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the center here. All right. And then let's go ahead and take these polygons up here and just extrude them straight up to add a little bit of sharpness there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pull that down. So you get something like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and exit isolate mode. All right, and now let's go ahead and just pull this out a little bit. Let's go ahead and use the working pivot, and then we'll mirror that over to the other side. Okay, now let's go ahead and attach both of these together. So under Edit Geometry, attach both of these. Okay, and now we want to bridge across some geometry in here. I'm going to go ahead and smooth these out first. So let's go ahead and add a turbo smooth to that. Okay, go ahead and collapse editable poly, and then let's select some polygons to bridge across. So we'll select this one and this one on both sides. Go ahead and bridge. Add a few segments in there for good measure, and then do the same thing over on this side. Okay to that. Okay, and you can real quickly get a nice piece in there to hold the handlebars. Okay, we might want to go ahead and just center that pivot, and I just want to scale it down just a little bit. Okay, and if we want to bring in this part of the handlebars a little bit, and let's say that we've already converted this to an editable poly. Well, all we need to do is come in and start to delete a couple of these lines. So I'll delete this loop, and let's go ahead and delete that loop. Okay. All right, and then we can go ahead and just grab these vertices. Go ahead and just grab them all. Deselect any that you don't need. Okay. We can start to scale this in a little bit. Okay, and we've got a gap in there from the from the line that we just deleted. So we can start to kind of space some of these out a little bit more. Go ahead and bring that in. Okay, and we can take that line on the other side of the point that we deleted. Pull that in a little bit. And maybe down. Okay, and you can play around with that as far as getting what you want. You can go ahead and bring that down. but you want to make sure that you bring this down to follow. All right. So now let's go ahead and create the grips. All right. So I'm going to use these polygons here. So let's go ahead and grab those. Okay. And I'll grab the polygon on the end there as well. And let's go ahead and now detach these. And we can detach them just by going to, again, Edit Geometry, Detach. Detach as a clone. Okay, then we'll go ahead and select this. Add a shell modifier to this. Take the inner amount down, but we'll add an outer amount to this. Okay, just give it a little bit of thickness there. Okay, let's go ahead and collapse this to an editable poly. Okay, take this outer polygon, and we can go ahead and go to Edit Polygons and inset that a little bit. Okay, something like that. And let's go ahead and now extrude that in. Very minimal amount. Okay, something like that. Inset that. Inset again. And now we'll go ahead and extrude this out here. And we want to create kind of a little bit of a ball here. So then we'll go ahead and bevel that. Take the height down. Take the outline amount down. I'm going to create a little bit of a kind of a ball shape. So we'll apply that. Take that down. Something like that. Okay, and then do an inset. And once you get to a certain point, like this, you can go ahead and collapse that. Okay. So under Edit Geometry, Collapse. Then we'll come up here and grab these edges. Go ahead and select the ring, connect to bring out the thickness of the guard there. And then we'll go ahead and select all those polygons around this way. And we'll go ahead and extrude those out. Something like that. Apply that, give a smaller amount. Inset that by a small amount. Okay, so something like that. And then you can come in and add extra edge loops in here if you need to kind of tighten everything up a little bit. Okay. And then here, this is going to be a little bit softer edge here. So we'll do connect, but we'll slide it not quite to the end, but maybe right about there. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and add a few in the middle here. Kind of break it up a little bit. Okay, so now you get something like that. And then you can go ahead and just mirror that over to the other side. All right, so there we've got our handlebars. In the next lesson, let's go ahead and continue on with this area by adding the instrument display and the rear view mirrors. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that next.